It's the enrollment trap, but we're fighting back. The enrollment trap.
Welcome to the first episode of the Enrollment Trap Unlocked, where we reach out to you guys, have conversations, let you ask your questions. Any topic is open for discussion. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. If you don't want to come up on stage to ask your question, you can go into the chat and just type your question in the chat. And if you use the chat, please use either the chat that says Enrollment Trap right above this channel, or if you click on the Enrollment Trap channel that we're currently in, there's a little chat bubble. Click on that, and that will open up a side chat where you can type your questions. If you want to come up on stage, right-click yourself, and you should see a little request to speak at the very top. Click that. It'll put up a little hand raise symbol, and we can bring you up on stage to ask your question or make a comment. If you want to talk about you got the golden letter and how you're feeling, or you're starting out on the borrower defense journey and you're just overwhelmed, we're here for you.
I didn't get the letter, and which I discussed why. You better believe that I waited till 1 a.m. Eastern time because I thought, well, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm not staying up till 3 a.m. Eastern time because it might have been midnight Pacific time, and we won't go down that road. But I
Yeah.
did fill it out and send it, and
Just to be very clear, that link is just for people who are post Class C sweeties. This is not for non-Cs. This is not for people who just applied. This is just for those individuals who are covered by the post-class C status of the sweet case. So, all right, what do you got to say? Hold on.
Hey guys.
Yeah, what's up, Steph?
Okay, so real quick, Roy's asking in the
Oh,
general
I was going to
discussion.
ask his question. I was watching it. You can ask it.
Okay, he's asking, how do I apply for borrower defense without any physical evidence that I can find yet? At least I'm just now trying to start this process.
excellent question.
It's a great question because it is very overwhelming when you're starting out. My recommendation is, and maybe it's self-promotion, but I make no money on this, is visit our website, enrollmenttrap.net, and go to the page entitled Enrollment Trap Assistant. That is the AI bot. And basically tell the bot, I need help working on my borrower defense application. She will take you through question by question on that application. When it gets to the part about evidence, she will give you different areas, different websites to go and try to find that evidence. It is very text heavy, so there is a lot of information you have to read through. But if you read through it and follow the prompts that she's giving you and provide the information, she will give you a solid application at the end of the process.
Indeed. I mean, we might want to do, after we finish our series, like a complete walkthrough for people that are fresh. So keep coming, subscribe, join the Discord, and listening because eventually we'll get there.
And does that help you, Roy? Let us know if he answers, Steph, because I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat that's on the side here. But I hope that helps answer your question. Yeah, let's give it a second, and then we'll see what he has to say, and then
He
we'll.
said, yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go that trap assistant right now.
And
Good.
just
Well, good
remember,
luck, Roy.
Roy, we are here if you have questions. That's what this community is here for. If while you're working on the bot, something isn't clear, reach out. I designed the bot. I trained the bot. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask us, and we'll definitely help you with that. And with that, we go to Jay. Jay, what's up?
Jay, let's hear you. What you got to say?
Oh man, I've been getting my ass kicked for the last 8 hours in chit chat and wherever. But I had no clue that I don't know. Like mine said processing discharge for a long time, and I don't know if any of y'all ever remember me saying that, but it said that for like almost a year and a half, and I had no clue. And then what was the link, Frank? What was the link where I had
The
to put in
backdoor
there?
stuff to
The
look at the
backdoor
coding.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I always get it from Reddit. I'd have to go back and look at the chat or go into Reddit and try
yeah,
to find it.
yeah. But that's where my confusion came from. Like, I was upset, but it was like there had to be something more than this because why does it say that I have a process of discharge. While I hear everybody else talking about, oh, I'm in review. And thought that was just strange to me, where everyone says they're in review, but mine says processing discharge.
Right, because you were a
Yeah.
group discharge, which is totally separate from the
So
suite deal.
even though I'm still part of the sweet settlement, it's like something completely different.
It is. It's a group discharge.
Well, hold on. It is different, but how federal FSA handles it is pretty much the same. I know Teresa said that. FSA told me that directly, because I'm also closed school and also have borrow defense and also have post class status, and how they process it. Like it is two separate things, but how they process it as far as the deadlines and everything is the same. They grouped them together, which is another reason why FSA is so messed up.
And yeah, and for sure, that's where I was going. Like, there has been no communication. And honestly, I thought about reaching out, but I'm like, where am I gonna go? They're gonna read off a teleprompter. Oh, we can't really help with that. Oh, we'll get back to you. I'll have to talk to one of my managers, whatever the case may be. I just think there's a major lack of communication. I mean, this is supposed to be the finance part of higher education. Why is there little to no communication?
Chaos and control,
Hmm.
thrives in a vacuum, right? You can keep control. You can build chaos when things are vacuumed, right? When you're not getting that information out and you're keeping the common man confused, not knowing what's going on. If you know what's going on, there's more of a sense of ease. And why would we want the average person to be at ease? We want them to be worked up. We want them to be confused because you're easier to control then.
That's very true. And I think there's another important point here that, yeah, everybody received their golden letter and it wasn't like as stellar. It wasn't as exciting. I mean, it was exciting, but not like what we thought it was. But they're still in litigation. They still can like appeal and they're still going to do whatever they can to postpone it and delay it. And all that we have is each other to like come to and ask advice and communicate with, and we're not getting it from the government. And what'll happen is you get the letter or you're in that status of processing discharge. Who knows how long it's going to take? Then you have the refund part of it. So if you've been fully discharged on your profile, they have to communicate with the credit agencies to get that removed. You can dispute it, which I highly am for. Like, I encourage you, if you got that letter, to just go. I mean, other people might disagree with me. That's my opinion only. So you have that process. That's not a quick process to go in and like dispute the charges on your credit. And then you get to the part of refund. I didn't ever pay much on my student loans, so I didn't really have much for a refund coming back. But I have heard from people that have paid well over $500,000 towards their student loans already, or paid them off completely, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And to get that refund back is going to be life changing, because you can pay on a loan over time and
But to
it
get
doesn't
that
make.
back in full, that is,
Yeah,
how
it's
would
like
that
winning
work?
the lottery.
Yeah.
It's
But how
not,
would that
but
work?
it's
No, yeah, but how would that work? Posing the question to you guys, how would that work? Let's say, okay, $100,000. I pay $100,000 off, and then, or let's just say I pay 95, and then I filed bar defense and all this other stuff. Am I gonna get that 95 back? Like, is that how it works? Like, I would wonder.
Yeah, you get whatever you've paid in. If you're so let's be clear about this. Under the suite case, you get refunded. Outside of suite, you have the potential to get refunded, but there are other stipulations to it, right? It's not an automatic refund because outside of the suite case, there is statute of limitations. So that will vary based on your specific scenario. So the suite case, you know, if post class, if they had, filed a decision on your application prior to the 28th, they could they could have not refunded you the money because they rendered a decision on your application, because there are rules and regulations around what they will refund. And I want to say it used to be, and I don't know if they've changed it, because the regulations change with every administration, but it used to be you had 3 years from when you realized the school had harmed you in some way. Like, let's say I went to school from 2007 to 2014, right? I really didn't think of it as anything bad until started seeing articles about my school and things that they were doing. And then I'm like, oh, maybe, yeah. But it was before Sweet was around, before Sweet was talked about. I didn't know I had an option of borrower defense until Sweet became more known. But if I had found out about this in 2015 and filed my borrower defense in 2024, likely I would not get a refund, because, like I said, the window used to be you had to file within 3 years of being made aware that the school had misled you. Administration changes the rules on borrower defense. And one important thing to note too, especially for those who are starting out, the rules you fall under, the regulations you fall under, depend on when your loans were distributed, when your loans were paid to your school. So if I apply right now, but my loans were distributed to my school in, let's say, 2019, okay, I would be under the 2019 regulations, because that's when my loans were distributed. That's why when people talk about should I consolidate, if you consolidate your loans, it changes where you fall in the regulations, because now it's considered new loans. So if I were to consolidate, I would fall over whatever the most recent regulations are. So
But keep in
there's some
mind,
craziness.
yeah, keep in mind though, if you consolidate, you're consolidating all that
Right,
interest.
right. But you have to think about it. If I'm looking at the 2016 regulations, which were much more forgiving of the application, right? I want to stick with 2016 because they're going to look at my application through a different lens than if I consolidate now and they're being looked at through the 2022 regulations. So that's why when we talk about consolidation, we can't advise you, because it will potentially change the rules on which your application is reviewed. So you have to weigh that for yourself. Now, if you have, what is it, FFELP loans, consolidation might be your answer, because if they weren't, federally held, if you consolidate, now they're part of that and they can be forgiven. You just wouldn't get any refunds for anything you paid prior to it being federally backed when you consolidated. So there's a lot of nuances to look into when you're talking about filing now and should I consolidate or not consolidate.
They don't make it easy at all.
But I like the fact that they do hold you to the regulations for when your loans were distributed and not when you filed your application, right? Because anyone that files now would fall under the 2022 regulations, which I think they're trying to fight and replace with Trump's regulations. I don't know. Definitely the Obama era regulations were a lot more borrower friendly than like the 2019 regulations, which is when she who shall not be named was Secretary of Education. What resulted in this lawsuit being filed, right, was how they handled the applications. I just think it's important to really be aware of when your loans were distributed, when they were paid, and what regulations that puts you under when you're talking about consolidation.
And as far as refunds, for most of us some of us that didn't pay a whole lot, we're probably going to get a little bit of here and there back. I don't know if someone had paid 10,000, 100,000, couple 100,000, 50,000, whatever. It's not likely they're going to get a big lump sum check sent or wire transfer or whatever sent back to them. It's more likely than going to be in
I got one. I
chunks.
got one check. I got one check.
Okay. I was well,
And it is
this was
only
the
check.
full class.
Yes,
The
they were
full
being
class,
sent.
I was individually.
Yep, they were sending like, on this loan you paid this amount, so here's this payment, or you
Yeah.
paid $200 one time, so here's the $200 payment back. And again, I think that was more attributed to being petty than anything, because literally I got one check and it will come as a check. That is why it's important to make sure your information is updated on the FSA website. If you've been married, make sure your name is updated on the FSA website. You don't have to change it on your borrower defense, but make sure on the FSA website your name is updated, your address is correct. Because I saw a lot of people saying, why is the email telling me to verify my address? Well, that's why. Because when they send the check, they're going to send it to whatever address is on your FSA account, because they send that information over to the Treasury and say, hey, here's the dollar amount going to Bob Smith at 123 Main Street. And well, Bob Smith moved out of 123 Main Street 10 years ago, and now that check's going to go there, get sent back as being undeliverable, and it's just going to delay your refund. So make sure you verify all of your information is up to date and correct on FSA.
And something to think about, like when I was younger and actually going to school, I would do that. I would go and update every time I moved, which was great and important. But I had missed a lot of initial communication because FSA is not fast. And especially back then, they didn't have all the electronic communication that they did now. And I wouldn't hear from them for like a whole year. I'm already moved, even though I updated it in the system, I already moved and I had put in mail transfer and they forwarded it to me. And I remember one document I had to sign, there was a deadline. I missed it because they mailed it. I had already moved. I put in the forward and that delayed it. And I missed it by like a couple weeks or something because it took that long to forward it. And then they say I didn't put in a forward or the forward only lasts a year, then it just will delay everything more and more. So my advice to anyone who is not in a stable housing situation, to find someone that you don't anticipate moving for several years and use that address. Like if it's like an elder relative or something, because if you're unstable and have unstable housing and you're moving every 6 months, every year, and you're waiting on a check, so make sure your parents, your grandparents, like an aunt or uncle, if they've been in the house for 20 years and there's no, they're in good health, like whatever the situation, just pick an address that's going to be stable if your housing is not stable. That's just my personal advice to you.
Jay, any other questions or comments you wanted to make?
No, I'm all set. Thanks.
Anybody else have any questions or comments they want to make? Flea did make a comment. My name is updated on FSA site, but my letter from yesterday had my previous name. Should I be concerned? They probably pulled that information from your borrower defense. Hopefully, when they send the information to the Treasury, since they specifically asked to make sure all of your information is updated, they will use that information. But I do recommend, if you had that experience, your letter did come in the wrong name or referenced a different address, reach out to FSA, and I always recommend using the online chat, because then you have a transcript of what was discussed and save that transcript.
100%.
Any other questions? I mean, normally this goes for a long time, but we don't have Alicia in here tonight to keep the conversation going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a pretty exhausting week. Last couple weeks has been pretty exhausting. Just with everything with the court things going on, with letters getting sent out, PPSL sending out emails, motions to stay and denials, and been pretty darn overwhelming. And this whole experience has been pretty traumatic. And it's like sometimes you just gotta give it a rest. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely
We're
all
all
right.
tapped out.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely okay. It's just we do this as a way to answer your questions, address your concerns, let you know that we're here for you. You're not in this alone. yeah, I mean, if no one has questions, we can wrap it
Yeah,
up,
we
and
can
then
wrap up.
I can go work storm duty now.
More storms. All right.
Well,
Well, thank
everybody,
you, everyone.
yep. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully, you'll join us next week because we're getting into, like I said, how we got here, how the feds ignored the evidence, and so yeah, that should be a good one. And it's the subject of the blog all week. So if you want to get some insight into what happened, how it happened, and if there's anything they're going to do about it, check out the blog, and then be here next week for our podcast. Thanks, everybody, and have a good night.
Thank you.
It's the enrollment trap, but we're fighting back. The enrollment trap.